Sawadee krap. Today I'm hanging out at Benja Siri Park in the center of Bangkok, which just opened up again this week after restrictions were eased in the capital for more types of venues. However, the exercise machines here are still closed, so I can't go do my muscle ups. Not that I can do them anyway, but it's still nice to be able to sit on the grass and enjoy the open air. And while not everyone is wearing a mask, I've noticed, I wouldn't want to be caught red-handed on camera, so I'm going to keep mine on. But before we go on with the news, a shout out to Mike Burston for being our new Thaiger legend. Thank you so much for your support, and you can be a Thaiger legend as well by hitting that join button, and also subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest top stories. All right, on to today's news. To the rejoice of some, we're not going to do the COVID figures for today, but for whatever reason, today's new case figures are much the same as they've been for every day for the past 2 months. Of note, however, is that today's total new deaths from the coronavirus was 40, leaping up from 17 yesterday. Meanwhile, a prominent Thai doctor has called on the government to ramp up the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines amid concerns that the low number of doses administered to date. He's certainly not alone on this one. Dr. Prasit Watanapa from Sirirat Hospital urged officials to do more during a Facebook Live broadcast. He says Thailand must accelerate efforts to achieve herd immunity and end the third wave as soon as possible. Prasit says the government must purchase more vaccine doses, but expressed confidence that Siam Bioscience may be able to double its production capacity soon. According to Siam Bioscience, the public health minister and the Thai PM, soon is soon, but just about everyone in the vaccine supply chain is being non-committal about when more vaccines will arrive. Yet another private healthcare group in Thailand says it's planning to purchase 5 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. The Thonburi Healthcare Group says the vaccine will be purchased through the government's pharmaceutical organization, which is the only mechanism through which the private sector can import COVID-19 vaccines. THG expects approval this month, with delivery expected in the third or fourth quarter of this year. According to the report, THG ultimately wants to import 10 million Moderna doses, but is starting with half that figure. To date, over 6 million doses have been administered in the government rollout, which is just 10% of the population. Several private organizations and hospitals have been trying to import vaccines to provide a variety to paying recipients. At this stage, no private vaccines are available. As the date of Phuket's reopening to vaccinated foreign tourists draws closer, officials are busy preparing all the necessary measures prior to the influx. The Sandbox scheme is meant to kick off on July the 1st, although details are still not finalized, passed by the CCSA or cabinet, or stamped into law in the Royal Gazette. Provincial officials have been rehearsing immigration and COVID-19 control measures at Phuket Airport, the island's ports, and the Tha Chat Chai checkpoint by the bridge joining Phuket to the mainland. A number of strict measures are being put in place to ensure that vaccinated tourists don't spread COVID-19 to the local population and to prevent foreign arrivals from violating the rules of the Sandbox scheme. Tourists will also be required to download the Mo Chana tracking app, and, I am not kidding on this one, will be fitted with location tracking wristbands, which will come in handy should they attempt to escape from Shutter Island. Officials have confirmed that facial recognition cameras are being fitted to identify vaccinated tourists who try to travel to anywhere else in Thailand before their 14 days on Phuket are up. In addition, they are busy devising punishments not only for these tourists, but also for anyone who tries to help them. We'll keep you updated on fun and sun in Phuket. Heading to another popular resort area, Pattaya tourism officials are pitching a travel scheme similar to Phuket's Sandbox, where the mandatory 14-day quarantine in a hotel room is waived for foreign tourists who are vaccinated against COVID-19. The government plans to reopen Chonburi to tourists in October, But tourism officials are hoping the start of the proposed Pattaya Move On travel scheme comes earlier, like in August. Under the proposed Pattaya Move On idea, vaccinated foreign tourists entering Chonburi from overseas would spend the first 3 days of their stay isolated at a hotel before traveling to Sattahip and Banglamung districts, which include Pattaya. After 14 days in the province, the tourists would be able to travel throughout Thailand, similar to the Phuket Sandbox. The Sattahip and Banglamung districts would need to reach herd immunity with vaccination to open up to international tourists. Phuket have been battling this challenge already, with a shortage of vaccine supply threatening their reopening date. Pattaya tourism officials say between August and September, around 10,000 to 20,000 foreign tourists are expected to visit the province if the plan is approved. They said that the numbers should rise in October when people from Europe come to Thailand to escape winter. Other provinces planning to reopen in October include Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Prachuap Khiri Khan, Phetchaburi, Krabi, Surat Thani, Phang Nga, and Buriram.
Want to keep up to date with what's happening in Thailand? Download the Thaiger app. It works on both Android and Apple. And it's free. All the latest news, videos, and information at one click from your phone. Go to your Play Store or App Store and download now.
Thailand's Minister for Natural Resources and Environment has blasted a TikTok video that shows Krabi boatmen shooting at Blacktip reef sharks. The minister is slamming what he describes as an act of gratuitous violence and says the sharks will be added to the list of protected marine species. The video surfaced on Monday and shows 5 men using a gun to kill the sharks, around 90 kilometers from the protected area of Got PP National Park in Krabi. In the clip, the men can be seen firing at 3 blacktip reef sharks, then dragging them on board their boat. The minister says that while blacktip reef sharks are not currently on the protected list, he has issued his ministry to review the list with a view to changing the situation. The Department of Marine and Coastal Resources has confirmed a review of the list is taking place and that blacktip reef sharks will be given protected status. With restaurant closures and soft curfews in place, online food delivery services have exploded over the past year with an unfortunate dark side. The Cabinet Tuesday released an environmental situation report that cited a sharp rise in plastic waste and infectious waste around the country. As COVID-19 pushed many people to work from home, barred in-person dining in restaurants, and even forced us at times into lockdowns, the demand for food delivery at home has skyrocketed. The government's deputy spokesperson discussed the findings in the report and highlighted the dilemma created by the increase in plastic disposable packaging waste that food vendors use when sending out food for delivery instead of serving on washable dishware in their restaurants. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has again apologized for holdups in the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines, saying there were a number of reasons for the delays. Earlier this week, 25 vaccination sites in Bangkok postponed inoculations. Several hospitals also delayed vaccinations over the weekend due to a limited supply. The PM has apologized, saying that as the Prime Minister and the Director of the CCSA, I am the top executive in this war against COVID. I must apologize for the problems that had happened, and I take all the responsibility. Uncle Tu says doses have been delivered gradually in small lots. With a limited supply of vaccines on hand, inoculation sites with high demand ran low and had to postpone injections. Prayut says the production process and quality checks for vaccines are time-consuming and can cause delays for deliveries, adding that other countries have similar issues. Priority has also been given to areas with active COVID-19 outbreaks and to those who are at high risk of infection, which has led to postponements for vaccine appointments for some who had registered but are not in a priority group. Trials are now underway for the 75-year-old Aung San Suu Kyi, the Nobel laureate and ousted Burmese leader that has been held prisoner by the military junta for 4 months after their coup on February the 1st. The former leader of Myanmar is on trial for alleged sedition and a number of lesser and archaic law violations. The courtroom proceedings did not allow any journalists or media in the room, which was described as a sparse, simple courtroom built by previous military forces. Without an audience or observers, the room held only a witness, the defendants, the judge, 2 clerks, and lawyers for both the prosecution and defense. According to her lawyer, Suu Kyi appears to be in good health during her court appearances and is said to be alert and attentive. She was described as always strong, smart, and confident. If convicted of all the crimes she stands accused of, Suu Kyi could face more than 10 years in jail for the crimes. And that's all for the news today. Please subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell to be updated with the latest news. Thank you for watching and Sawadee krap.